Back in the 80s, Battletech was really the small player when you looked around at Transformers, Robotech, and Warhammer 40k, which was also kind of getting its roots. If you look at those, Battletech would have been the smaller one. As time has gone on, it has grown to certainly out eclipse Robotech, but is still kind of a distant third behind Transformers in terms of at least the movie properties and Warhammer. Hello everybody, my name is Preston Poulter. Welcome to my channel, Lords of Iron. Now, one of the reasons why Battletech fell behind a little bit as opposed to, say, Warhammer is that FASA went through a lot of financial problems. And when the company that made the IP goes bankrupt, well, it's hard to grow an IP beyond that. But Battletech is still around and it is still growing. And this reminds me of what Todd McFarlane talked about back when he was looking at starting Spawn and with Image Comics and all that. And for him, he was leaving major comic book companies, Marvel, and he was now looking at going out on his own and how is he going to get his IP to grow. And he said there were 4 pillars for him: comics, toys, movies, and computer games. He's like, if I can get those 4 things going, then I know my IP is going to grow. Battletech, if you looked at it, started off as a board game, which certainly had a fair number of, we can call it toy tie-ins with the miniatures. But then we also had a lot of very successful novels there with the Michael Stackpole stuff. And I remember reading that stuff back in high school. And then here come the computer games. There was enough there to keep the IP alive and growing. Whereas Robotech, Harmony Gold was never really able to capitalize on the initial success of Robotech. The movie crapped out, and they had a lot of other ideas. Oh, computer game? No, not really. Oh, another series? No, not really. They were never able to capitalize in order to really capture on that. Meanwhile, Transformers, which was never really much of a game, but it started off as a toy, and then a comic series with Marvel, which was really well done. And then here come the movies. We had an animated movie back in the 80s, and then when we start to get into, say, the late 90s, here comes the Michael Bayness, and the thing just keeps on taking off. Warhammer 40k, meanwhile, starting off with a great miniatures, very profitable enterprise. And oh, look, we got novels, we got computer games. We're starting to get some really cool videos I've seen on YouTube with the Astartes thing. Hey, info card if you want to check out my video where I talk about Astartes. So IPs that grow really have these multiple branches. And me as an IP creator, I look at that and I go, okay, how am I going to do things? And I don't want to get too involved in what I'm going to be doing in the future, but I certainly would encourage everybody to check out my eBay store for all the wonderful comics I've been making and be on the lookout for a mecha-focused comic book coming up entitled Lords of Iron. This has been Preston Poulter. Thank you very much for your time. Take care.